That's me. Okay, everyone, this is our presentation of the flipped learning. Okay, what the teacher should know about the topic before teaching the kids. We are going to teach you about Australia. That will be the topic today. Okay? We have a research question. Why is Australia such a common and good topic to work with? A very basic research question, yes. However, we meet working with Australia in many different courses and age groups. So, please have a look at our agenda. I won't go through it because we got plenty to talk about.
So this is the Australian flag. You can see that in the left you have the Union Jack, and then the 6 stars that to show the six states of Australia. Like in the US, there's 50 states. In Australia, there's 6 states. Yes. You can also see the Southern Cross. That's to show Christianity is a big part of Australian culture, which you can see this star, these stars in the night sky, and then on the right it's probably just important to include the First Nation Australians as well, because they also have their own flag, which is represented by the black night and the yellow sun and then the red desert. Yeah. So then I'll give you some quick crash course history. So basically, Aboriginals have been in Australia for tens of thousands of years. It's only since 1788 that white Europeans have been in Australia, and a lot of people consider that to be the starting of Australian history. But there's, as we can see, at least 50,000 years ago there's been people living on Australia. And basically a lot of the First Nation peoples suffered from this colonization, like most of the world, which ended with epidemics and massacres and revolutions, revolts, blah blah blah. It goes on. One thing we've taken an example is the gold rush. Australia is very famous for the gold rush because a lot of immigrants were seeking riches and wanted to become wealthy, and there was a gold rush in Australia. So yeah, next slide.
All right. Yes, so here's just some geographical facts. The official name, you can see Commonwealth of Australia. There's a federal parliamentary democracy. The capital is called Canberra. The population is almost 24 million people. They speak English. They trade with the Australian dollars. There's almost 8 million square kilometers. Not 8 million, is it? Yeah. Yeah, and an important fact is Australia is a continent and the biggest island in the world.
Yeah. And also the people and the culture. So Australia is one of the most ethnically diverse nations in the world, and because they have a lot of people coming from the United Kingdom and other European countries such as China, Vietnam, North Africa, and the Middle East. So they are very ethnically diverse in that way. Also, the Australia's warmth. It's very warm there all year round. In some places, they have a very sunny climate. An abundance of open spaces give the population of a love of the outdoors. The people are also very passionate about the sports, including some of these swimming, surfing, sailing, and stuff like that. But also Australian rules football. Yeah.
It's easy. Yes, then we'll talk a bit about the government and the economy. As the government is like they're a part of the Commonwealth that we have mentioned before. So actually the head of Australia is the British monarch, and many of the Australians think that the stop this and become a republic. And they also voted for it in 1999, where it was very close, but they choose to stay with UK. And with the economy, Australia is a big important exporter of goods like wool and wheat, beef and fruits, but they also rich in minerals and metal, and is the fourth largest producer of gold. Yeah. Then we have some facts that kids might think could be fun to hear, and also sort of like fun facts about Australia. So like between the year of 2000 and 2013, more people were reportedly killed by horses in Australia than by the country's deadliest animal combined. So that's just something to think about. Melbourne is home for the largest population of people with Greek heritage outside of Greece. There are 10 times more camels than koalas in Australia. Australia is truly a land of extreme, with the highest temperature ever recorded being 50 degrees and the lowest minus 23. And each winter more snow falls on the Australian Alps than in the entire country of Switzerland. So that's just some fun facts that you can show off with.
So we want to talk about some varieties of English spoken in Australia. So basically you have standard Australian English. It's like the English I'm speaking. It's basically spoken by the majority, and basically people that were born and raised in Australia speak this way. We shared a link with Margot Robbie, the famous actress, that goes through different slangs, different slang with her, and you can hear the way she speaks, and she has a very strong accent. The second variety of English is First Nation or Aboriginal English. So like we mentioned before, there's been Aboriginals living in Australia for a long time, and they have their own language and their own customs. So when they speak English, they also have their own accent or dialect when they speak, and they also have some different vocabulary. And we've taken the example deadly. So in Aboriginal, if they said something's deadly, it means it's actually very cool or very, very good, where we would think it'd be very dangerous. And the main example of Australian dialects is ethno-cultural Australian, which basically is because, like we mentioned before, Australian is full of migrants, immigrants. So there's many different ways of speaking English, and that's represented here. Lars said there's a lot of Greeks living in Australia, so they have their own way of speaking English because their parents have an accent, and they live in Greek communities and something like that. So yeah, that's that one.
Great. All right. So in order to gain some intercultural competence, we would like to peel off some layers of the onion diagram. We see some values, which is multicultural, a fair go, diversity, and democracy. The rituals is Australian Day barbecue. They love barbecue, and they love the beach life, and they love sporting events. And some heroes, there's Captain Cook, Crocodile Dundee, Hugh Jackman, Kathy Freeman, Steve Irwin, and Margot Robbie. And some symbols are the Australian crest, green and gold, Uluru, Sydney, Harbour Bridge, and Opera House, some architecture, and as well as the iconic Bondi Beach.
Yes. And then there's a short topic list of what you could work with as well. So there's a text just like that, and that's actually just the Australian version of the death of Tommy Grimes. And also there's a film, The Red Dog. It's something about a red dog that helps people get together to find its owner. Also, you can use this Australian crash course to activate some prior knowledge. Yes?
Yeah, and just before we go further on, we would like to just discuss the value of flipped learning, because even though if a teacher are going to teach a topic about Australia, let's say wildlife, the teacher should also have knowledge of the overall topic Australia, because the kids may have millions of questions, and yeah, it's just it gives you authority to know all this stuff that we do here in the Flip Learning and activate prior knowledge, and yeah, it's sort of working as scaffolding as well, and yeah, like doing this video like we do, it's a good sort of homework for the kids to watch at home.
Yes. So the conclusion: why is Australia such a common and good topic to work with? As we mentioned, we're going through these topics here. We think it's very easy for learners to understand and get into, because the topic and themes are can work on every grades. I think also that many history, architecture, geographic, nature, and so on, things you can work with, so you can actually find topics that interest your class as well. And yeah, it's famous and relatable, so very easy and to work with.
Great.
See
G'day,
you.
g'day, mate.